In this video, I'm going to give you a breakdown of what the pelvic floor is and why it matters in pregnancy and postpartum. If we don't know each other, I'm Sarah. I am a mom of 3, a pre and postnatal yoga teacher, and a pregnancy and postpartum corrective exercise specialist. Whoa, that's a mouthful. I always pause right before I say it because I'm I don't want to stumble over my words. And yet here I am. And I have my trusty little pelvic model or pelvis model because this is going to be really, really helpful for us. I just want to point out though that I do teach an entire workshop that is 2 hours long, or maybe 3 hours long actually, on pelvic floor and core that accompanies my pelvic floor and core program to actually then put that stuff into practice and learn the pelvic floor exercises and do them every week for 6 to 12 weeks, however long it takes. This is just an overview because there is so much I could share with you, and it's not all going to fit into this video. So I'm just going to give you the basics. Okay. So number one, this is your pelvis. There are 4 bones in the pelvis. You have your, this is the right side, right? For me, maybe it's mirrored for you. The right ilium, hip bone, the left ilium, and they meet together in the front at this junction that we call the pubic bone, but it's actually not. It's 2 bones together coming together. So we have 1, 2, and then 3 is your sacrum, and 4 is the coccyx, which these 2 are actually fused together. The coccyx is your tailbone. Okay. So those are the bones of the pelvis, and the muscles, the pelvic floor is a hammock of muscles. So all this red stuff that you see, these are the muscles. The muscles surround 3 holes if you are a female, which I'm assuming you are if you're watching this video. And they surround the holes to allow them to open and close. So to use the bathroom, for sex, etc. I don't know what the etc. is, but I felt like I needed a third thing to list. They also help support the weight of your internal organs, like your bladder, your uterus, your rectum, and they help support the weight of a baby if there's a baby in your uterus. And there are also ligaments that help do that. It's not entirely the pelvic floor, but it is a big player in this. And because of that, your pelvic floor works very hard in pregnancy because everything just got a lot heavier and the ligaments are relaxed a little bit because of the hormones, which means things are kind of weighing down even more. So if you feel heaviness in your pelvic floor during pregnancy, it could be a prolapse, yes, but it also could just be the general weight of everything in pregnancy. And something to add in there is that pelvic floor issues often arise during pregnancy, not only during birth. If you've had a C-section or you know someone that has, they have a very good chance of having pelvic floor issues because they were just once upon a time pregnant. So it's not because a baby passed through the pelvic floor that we often have issues. That can be a contributing factor, but it's really pregnancy that does the work. So if you think about all these muscles, you have muscles all throughout your body. Think about your bicep, and your pelvic floor muscles, if you're just squeezing them all the time, you're not making it stronger. You're actually weakening it. So you can have problems with your pelvic floor because it's weak, because it's being overused. And those problems can look like incontinence, leaking pee or poop, painful sex. I mean, think about it. All of these muscles, if they're tight and they're squeezing, it's going to be really hard for something to get in. And so that's why sex is painful, right? You could have a really long labor if your pelvic floor is tight and kind of holding on and you're resisting contractions. You could have prolapse where your pelvic floor organs are pushing into the vaginal canal. It's a little hard to show you now without taking everything out. But this is all related to your pelvic floor being too tight, too weak, fatigued, overused. And there's a very real connection between the jaw and the pelvic floor. So if your jaw is really tight, your pelvic floor might also be tight. If you even just look at the muscles, you look at the pelvic floor and you look at the larynx, I never know how to say the word, sorry. They look very similar. And you can feel it if you make a high-pitched noise. Feel it in your pelvic floor. You kind of feel things like, ugh, and if you make a low noise, the pelvic floor relaxes. That is the connection between your jaw and your pelvic floor. It's a very real thing, and we lean into this for when we're laboring, right? And trying to help things move along, trying to help the pelvic floor relax. The last thing I want to say before giving you something really practical to practice is your pelvic floor. It's a little hard to show you how I'm seated now, But your pelvic floor is also connected to your diaphragm. The pelvic floor is like the base of your core system, and the diaphragm is kind of like the top of it. And what naturally happens in your body when you inhale is that they both go down. And when you exhale, they both go back up. And so we can kind of hack this system by taking a deep breath in and feeling the pelvic floor relax down, and then blowing it out and lifting the pelvic floor. So you inhale, relax, and exhale, contract. And that is pelvic floor breathing, which I'm going to take you to another video that breaks it down a little bit more and guides you through it. This is something you should be practicing all the time. And once you have that down, then you build on and you challenge and progressive loading and all of that. But this is your next starting point. So go watch that video right now.